Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you very much for your support and to tune back into my channel. And if this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and also check my other social media, Instagram and Patreon for extra content. But without further ado, let's dig into this new episode. Today we're gonna take a look at the worst top 10 games of great companies. What it means is these companies have published excellent games. Every time I see a new release from this company, I'm excited. But sometimes they are not always great games. And this is the top 10. That means these are the games that have the greatest disconnect in terms of quality or the greatest disappointment compared to what the other games this company have released. I'm gonna so not necessarily all these games are really bad. They are not good, but you may enjoy, and if you do, please write in the comments. But also these are games that really are very different from what you are familiar with, especially my number 10. My number 10, we have a game on Board Game Geek as a rank of 6.6, and this is Founders of Gloomhaven. So this game is for the same company releasing Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, Java the Lion, so great dungeon crawl, great games that are very popular. I don't love them. I understand why people like it. It's not my type of style. But Founders of Gloomhaven is totally different beast. It's a very Euro game. You have tiles, you have action selection, you have resource management, really a complicated Euro game, but it's not a satisfying Euro game. It's very convoluted, lots of difficult rules, and not enough oomph that you want to have in a Euro game, which is something that I prefer compared to Gloomhaven. And for what it is, I prefer playing so many other Euro games rather than the Founder Gloomhavens. I know this is something that you may like, but as a very great disconnection with what it was. This company has released the #1 board game geek game for years, Gloomhaven, and then we have a Frosthaven. So this company has been very much seeked by many gamers. But there's this guy here that unfortunately not many people played it. I don't know how. It's something that you don't see very often is talking about, and maybe there is a reason. And number 9, we have a game released by CMON, Cool Minutes or Not. All their games are very popular, are very beloved by many people because they sometimes are simple, because they have great miniatures, they have a great theme, they have great designers involved. I like those games too. I'm excited when there's a CMON campaign is launched. There's so many goodies, but not everything is good. Like in this case, we have a rate of 5.6. Already, if you're familiar with Board Game Geek, you know that anything below 7, it's not really good. This is a 5.6. This is Edition Worst Battle for Alabaster. This is a dungeon crawl with minis, really much in this genre that CMON puts out, but it's a mess. It's extremely complicated for a 2-player game. It's very long. The rules are not very well written, and the minis are a pain to build. Everything is just not good. There's no reason why someone would want to play this game compared to any other games that this company has released. The other things in the market. This is really mind-blowing how this game was published. But I know some folks may enjoy. There's some nostalgia. These are obviously at the beginning of what CMON is known for. So, give it the benefit of the doubt that we're learning maybe. And now we have the greatest games that this company has released. And so perhaps this is the tuition they have to pay to reach the excellent of these days. So number 9, we have Edition Worst Battle for Alabaster. And also, I try to keep vary all the companies. There are several some companies that have more bad apples than others, but because also they release more games than others. So I try to also diversify. So you will not see many companies or repeating companies in this list. At number 8, we have a game from Renegade Studios as a board game geek rate of 5.7, and this is Cat Tower. Cat Tower is a dexterity game where you roll a die and you need to stack cards with a cute cat face, and you need to fold them and cut them together. The idea looks great. It seems very family friendly. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Well, the quality is very poor. The cards do not hold up. They are not easy to fold, and the system of the die is flawed. Because if you want to stack this cat and then you have to place two cards that are flat to each other, or they have opposite, one concave, one convex, it doesn't work. So yes, you can have a good time sometimes, but most of the time there's frustration because just the lack of the die, it doesn't fit these pieces together. So that's unfortunately because the idea is cute, the theme is cute, but the components and this is mechanic doesn't work. I would like to see a remake of this game because it's really, the concept is very fun and maybe very attractive for families. At number 7, we have a game published by Stronghold. Stronghold has most of the time also import game from Europe. In this case, we talk about Flee by Friedman Freeze. So this game fit this concept that Friedman Freeze is developing of games that you want to learn on the go. Like you have this evolving or experience that the player has with the game by discovering at the same time. So you don't basically read the rules from the beginning, or better, you don't have a rule book, but you explore the game, you discover the game as you play. Flee is a cooperative game where you need to try to solve a puzzle, and the puzzle is where this card have to be located. And you can see some picture here. The first mission, you have this frog here, that if the player that has the frog in front of them is playing or starting the turn, then everyone loses. And so you have to manipulate the cards. You need to assign this card in order to make this frog move along, and so this frog never takes the turn. Basically, the concept is very fascinating. However, you will realize that extremely difficult, and after, when you start, you have these cards, you assign this card which power to trigger. You have really no idea what you need to do, and immediately you realize that you start doing try and error. Okay, this didn't work. Okay, try the other one, didn't work, and you find out that this game seems to have only one solution, and so you eventually feel like on rail of the game. You have no really agency. Well, maybe at the end you have more manipulation because there are more cards played, but at the beginning you feel like really, oh, I need to find the puzzle. I have no clue how this puzzle can be solved. I just need to force it until I found the only right combination, but just because I lost already 5 times. It's not really fun. It's not something that I'm interested in, and that's unfortunately is a very disappointing game. It's one of the worst top 10 games from great company like Stronghold. Number 6, we have a game that has a rate of 5.8, and this is a game for Fantasy Flight. Fantasy Flight games are tons of games. Really, if you look on Board Game Geek, you find more than 1,000 games and expansion and promos, like lots of them. So you would expect a bad one. And I picked, I think, something that is universally considered a lemon from this company. Also, by just looking at the marketplace, you will see how many of these games are sold on the second hand because people don't enjoy them. And this is Discoverland Unknown. This is a game where is sort of 7 continents or citadels. You explore a map, you interact with the map, you reveal your cards, you have a story decision to make. Unfortunately, is very bland. and you have decision to make, and it's also quite unique because each box is supposed to be different from any other box that you can buy. So you are guaranteed that you buy a box, you play it, and your friends buy another one and you play with them, you can have a totally different experience. The concept is great. You know that Fantasy Flight can pull that off, for example, with Keyforge. Unfortunately, this game is extremely dull and boring. One, the story, so generic. All the things that you find are very much disconnected. And I can see that if you want to have a story that, and at the same time you want to have this game be different from any other copies, you need to be generic, you need to be vague. Some of the cards don't really make sense, and then you say, what's going on here? Like, the fascinating aspect of these sort of games, of this exploration and these storytelling games, is that at some point you have a card that gives you some sort of background and you understand what's going on. You have those, oh, I didn't expect that. There's nothing of this. And then the fighting is so just roll a die and see what happens, basically. It's super boring. There's no reason why we should play this game. And that's unfortunately. The concept, the basic, it seems very interesting. Fortunately, the execution was a little bit weak. And number 5, we have a company that probably is a juggernaut of the industry. A huge booth every time you go to convention, and every time they release a game, which is not very often, they do maybe one game per year, maybe two, or maybe a big one, a new one, and some small spin-off or something else. People are super excited, and this is Days of Wonders. Every time Days of Wonders release a new game, everyone is excited. In the last year's great hits, we have The Hit, we have Ticket to Ride Legacy. They are masterclass in gaming, Ticket to Ride, Memoir 44, Small World, like you name it. Unfortunately, not all of them are very good, and this was a very big disappointment. And this is the River. The River, it was supposed to be a simple worker placement, resource, fulfillment. You get resources to exchange resources that should introduce family to this concept, but it's extremely boring. It's extremely the same over and over and over, and it's so unexpiring, and that's unfortunate because Days of Wonders games are quite expensive, so it's too bad that this game has disappointed many people, but it happens. And so at number 5 we have The River. At number 4 we have a game from Game Right. Again, this is a number 4, not because the game is very, very bad. It's just because the disconnection between what it was before and this is huge. The game is not good, but it's not horrible, but it's not good. You shouldn't play. And the previous games from this company, Forbidden Desert and Forbidden Island, masterpiece. They are like, if you want a cooperative game, easy for the family, get one of those. Forbidden Desert, forget about it. It's just horrible. They try to fit this trilogy that now becomes becomes a tetralogy. So is that word? I don't know. You tell me in the comment. Tetralogy sounds good. So anyway, it seems like they want to try something innovative. You have this kind of rocket ship that you should connect pieces together to lights up and let it go. Pieces don't work. Simple as that. Beside the cooperative nature of this game is uninspiring. Nothing. It's not as good as the previous, and then you add the components that really are bad, and you have just a piece of plastic that you should donate. Anyway, so this is Forbidden Sky, so don't seek them out. Although you may have those other 2 games, and so you may be curious. Don't do that. About Forbidden Jungle, I heard the mixed reviews. I haven't played it, so we'll discuss next time. And now we have the top three. These are very, very horrible games. So unfortunately, they didn't come out very well. Maybe underbaked, maybe something went wrong in the production. And at number three, we have a game that actually, I would say, was almost there. It very much intrigued me. And as I said, this I put it here at number three because Stonemaier Games is an excellent company. It's really very, very good. Any games that you tell me they have a Stonemaier log on it, I mean, I want to try, I want to play, I'm interested. And I tried this game, and the concept was very interesting. You have a simultaneous real-time worker placement game with a cool theme, which turned out to be very abstract, as well as the real-time was very, very boring. You have send timers that you use as a worker, and you flip them over to take the spots and do the actions, and then you wait the send to run over, and then you can retrieve them and trigger again, and you have a contract to fulfill, and then things to unlock and upgrades to have. But everything was very meh. The first time I felt like, oh, I feel like, oh, do we have real time? No, it's pretty chill. The send timer gives you 2-3 minutes to an action. Yes, you may forget some of it, but that's too bad for you. You're gonna do the action later. But there's not really that agency, or you don't have a really that urgency. I need to say that urgency to retrieve your work. Nothing special. The theme, as I said, is very abstract. And after you play twice, I would say there's nothing to discover. There's no reason to come back. And it's too bad because there may be something interesting there. But I really wonder what happened there, why there's no depth in this game, why there's nothing more to explore. And I'm surprised because Jimmy Stegmaier and his brother are very, very thorough in that process. In games that they engage you for a good chunk of time, 90 minutes usually. Euro, they have very thinking games sometimes, and this one has really no depth, in meaning that you discover everything after two play. They must have play tested for so many times. Why did you didn't see that there's really not much to discover after the second play to this game? The real time aspect doesn't bring anything. It really, you will be surprised that really I was expecting some anxiety, some sort of adrenaline. No, it's pretty chill. I don't know how to improve it. Unfortunately, this is no for me. At number two, we have a 4. Yes, this game has a 4 on Board Game Geek. And this game has been published by Pandasaur Games. Pandasaur Games are famous for many games that are imported by Europe or Asia, but also they have launched great Kickstarter campaign, and they have put on the market games like Dinosaur World, Dinosaur Island, the Fox Experiment, you name it. There are excellent games, family-friendly games, there are heavier games, the components is good, the colors are splashy. I'm always excited when I see their booth and see their new releases. This game that I'm talking about is Roller Coaster Rush. The name sounds fun. You have marble going through the roller coasters. You build this roller coaster park or this marble park, and you see this marble going through. Unfortunately, the production in this case was horrible. The pieces don't match. They don't fit. You can't build anything. You can't do anything with this. It's just you get a bunch of plastic and you cannot even play it. So I understand what's the for, because people don't even know if there's a game there. They don't even know if it's a good game in there. It's just you have a bunch of plastic, a bunch of marble. And I put a number 2 because at least you can do something with the marble. And the thing you have in the number 1, you can do anything with the number 1. So at least you get the marbles if you buy this game. Unfortunately, it's something that I would be very curious to see a nice roller coaster theme park of dexterity. We have this marble rolling around. I want to see something like that. Pandasaurus was trying to do something very nice, but the component just let everyone down. Number 2, we have Roller Coaster Rush. And number one, I think we have something that is almost tangent to money grab. This company, they are now renowned for great involved story experience. It could be story like a fantasy story, but mostly, at least for me, the story that I like is about investigation. They have released Chronicles of Crimes, we have Chronicles of Time, we have Lucky Duck Games, that is an amazing company really to deliver experience. And I'm so excited about the Dark Quarter that is being released soon by Lucky Duck Games in conjunction with Van Ryder Games. So I'm always excited with their games. And I was excited when I saw Sherlock Case Connection. You get this game and you can see here you have this picture here, basically taken from the movie. And what do you think? This game has been released right after Chronicles of Crime, or about that time. So you expect another investigation detective type of experience. What you get a bunch of cards with shots and cutout of the movie and some patterns of colors on the cards which you need to match. You draft a card, you need to find a blue. Okay, I match a blue. This card has a pink. I will pick a card with the pink. Alright, it's matching color. There's no other things in this game. You don't have any decision to make beside, I need to recognize colors. And if you're colorblind, good luck with that. So there is nothing here. And I'm really almost angry with them, because you put this theme here and you present a game, there's no deduction, there's nothing related to Sherlock besides some picture. You could have called anything else. You could have just put these dots and colors and would have been just fine. It would be just the same. Why put this IP? What trying to do? That's why I say I'm angry, and I'm thinking that this is a money grab. They are rated 4.2. I don't even know why they get a higher rating than Roller Coaster Rush. At least you get your marble there. Here you get just a bunch of cards. I was saying something else. A bunch of cards that can just go to the recycling. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know why nobody's pressed the button stop. This is not a good idea, but everyone agreed this is a good idea. I don't have no idea what happened here. Anyway, this is my list. This is my top 10 worst game from great companies. Remember, these are all great companies. I'm always excited. These are things that happen. Sometimes you may have a bad day. In the case of Lucky Duck Games, must be a series of bad days in a row, because this goes, play tested, maybe, and printed, and etc. etc. Anyway, I need to stop here. So if you made it that far, I appreciate your company, and so please don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends. You know the drill. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much, and see you next time. Ciao.